Hi, Ms Chanelle here, language success coach here at CSBS Learning, and I am here to share with you part two of our video on the mark scheme. And this time we're just going to look at the actual rubric itself. That's all the information that's available within the grids so that you can have an idea. Like, it's going to be a deeper dive into what you need to focus on and understand where you are in terms of improving for the exam, right? Some people think this information is a little too much, all right? So if you think this is too much as you listen to it and it's not helpful for your progress, that's okay. Come off the video, find another video that we have here. However, if it is you're able to assimilate this information and start thinking, where am I in terms of my exam prep and where am I, which every single question I respond to, then this definitely has its benefits. Okay. And I guess if you're a teacher who didn't really sit down and go through the syllabus and you're now wondering, hey, how do I do this? Hey, I'm here for you too. All right, so without further ado, let's start off with our first question. And yes, I am going to zoom in if you were screenshotting like crazy. I just wanted you to see that it's on one sheet. Again, all this information is taken from the CSEC English syllabus published by CXC. This is the revised 2020 version of the syllabus. It's still applicable, guys. It's still applicable, and you can get this for free online from CXC's website, or if you search the internet, I guess. All right, so I want you to kind of observe the layout of the grid. All right. And by the way, my disclaimer, I'm giving you this information based on using my own sense of understanding and awareness to explain what we're going to look at, right? I don't have this information from CXC. I think all of us who have this information from CXC, this is the information we have from CXC. So again, I want to give you clarity in understanding how this is potentially done. So let you know, I have no formal training. If there's formal training from CXC, this is for me being able to read and understand. Okay. So you will see at the side on the left, there are three broad categories: incompetence, competence, and superiority. And if you saw part one, there was certain no, it's not disclaimers, but certain warnings given for certain questions where if you didn't hit competency at least, if you were firmly in incompetency, you couldn't get certain marks awarded to you. All right. So, uh, one of the things that looking at this criteria does is judge whether it was competent, superior, or incompetent. Incompetent means you pretty much suck at it. I am so sorry if that hurt you, but you kind of need to know if you suck at it. So incompetence means you really suck at it. So right now, you suck at it. Okay. So we have tier one, which demonstrates that you suck at it. Yeah. Tier two suggests that you may suck at it. So there's hope for you to get to tier three, but it suggests you suck at it. And let's look at the breakdown. If you, I hopefully you remember, but when you see one is content, two is organization, and three is the language, right? So that's the order we normally look at for English. So if you're at tier one in incompetence and you're demonstrating that you are incompetent in this question, the summary question, then your content and your organization of content demonstrate total incompetence in addressing the criteria. You really suck, right? Yeah. And three, frequent inaccurate use of language. Your writing. No, this is not even your writing. This could be your, this is more your basic language use. You probably got a lot of grammatical errors. You got a lot of incomplete sentences. Punctuation is all over the place. It's pretty bad. As you see, it's got three hot zeros, right? I call those eggs, right? And if my students get zeros, I decorate them. Right now it's about Christmas time, so I am doing Christmas ornaments for zeros for my students. You also see there's a disclaimer. Sorry, disclaimer warning. Too little information presented to make an assessment. So if I can't, you've written one sentence. Definitely I can't. Zero zero zero. Yeah. Christmas ornament, Christmas ornament, Christmas ornament. That's the way it's gonna go, right? Then let's look at two. So basically, we don't want to be in incompetence, right? But I'm just reviewing it so that you're aware of what incompetence means, what, so that you're aware what your marks get. If you need to be aware, yeah, you just need to be aware. But we don't want to be here. My policy is that I like to know what I don't want to aim for as well. So that's why we're going through this. Level two suggests you're incompetent and that you suck, right? How dare they? For content and organization of content, there is incompetence in addressing the criteria. So before was total incompetence, right? Right. So one is you're definitely not good at it. Here it's like it seems that you're not good at it. Yeah. Right. So that means it's still pretty bad, right? And for the language, which is three, inability to use language accurately. So we've got some errors, right? We've got errors that we should not have at this level. And again, if you have errors with these things, find someone that's supportive and can help you. Grammatical errors are not impossible to deal with, especially if you already got literacy down and you can read. It's a matter of training, it's a skill. It's not the end of the world. So you just need somebody supportive to help you, right? And their disclaimer here is insufficient information presented in some area, right? So notice one is too little info at all, and in two, it's too little info in some areas. In one of the areas, we just don't have enough meat. Yeah, we don't have enough meat. And we see a range here. So we have 144. I will be honest with you. I do not know if CXE just has a 4 here. I don't know if this means that you have to start at 4. Just looking, if you notice the others on top, they have a range. Here doesn't have a range. So I am going to assume, based on how this is presented, because I don't have that direct link with the CX of C, that when you're at this level, you can't get more than one, which I think is fairly obvious in content. You get 4 minimum and maximum for organization. You get 4 minimum maximum for grammar. I Again, so what I would say is that tells me you should write something for your response. And I normally tell students this, please write something for responses. I for English I can say writing a response is better than not writing a response. Please be mindful of that. Then we're going to go to the competence section. This is where you want to at least aim for, at least right now. When I say right now, you're now starting to prep for the exam. You want to make sure at least you're competent. It means that you have less climbing up to do. Okay? So we have level 3 and level 4. Level 3 suggests that you're competent. Level 4 demonstrates that you're competent. So you really want to hit that level 4, right? So let's look at a breakdown. For level 3, where it's suggested that you're competent, for content, and the organization of content, we see some degree of competence in addressing your criteria. So you see, we get 2. It now seems as if you can hone in on the points, right? So we have 2 for content, and for organization of content, 5 to 6. That's where you're looking at. I feel like I've gleaned information. I feel like I've learned something when I have read your work. Now, I just want to kind of create what in my head is the distinction between level 2 and level 3. Level 2 and level 3 both have suggest, right? If you notice that, they would have suggest incompetence or suggest competence. But if I read your work and I feel like, hey, I think I get something, I'm probably going to think of your suggest competence. But if I read your work and I'm like, I sorta, kinda, in a way, get something, but I'm not sure if I got something, but there's information for me to get something, I will consider you a level 2, suggesting incompetence. Right? Again, that's my criteria. When I mark it, I'm just trying to make it easier for you to build a picture of where you need to be, right? Because it's where you need to be as you present your information. And based on based on working with students over the last 7 years, I do tend to hit the spot with marking, right? And I do tend to hit the spot with understanding which profiles a student is excelling in, right? So if it is you're interested in doing more work with me directly, click the link and you can see how to sign up for one of my courses. We're going to do past paper prep beginning in Jan, a crush course. We're going to crush English A. And if it is you can't do anything paid right now, there's the free membership, which you can also sign up for, which you'll get some nuggets and insights and secrets on how to prepare for the exam, right? Then we're going to level 4, which is demonstrates competence, right? And we're really looking at nicer marks already. Okay, we're looking at much better marks, right? So we went from the depths of Hades and we're moving on up, right? So level 4 demonstrates competence in addressing the issue. So both 3 and 4 have competence in addressing the issue. There's nothing else there, CXC, to define it. So what I normally think is, I feel like I'm closer to superiority, like I've gotten more general information. That's how I try to understand it, right? And I know my explanations may sound vague, but based on when I correct work, it's kind of works like that. That's how the students. That's how that's how the work I receive is, right? And for language, effective and accurate use of language, though there may be a few lapses. All right. So my language. Oh, I didn't mention language for suggest. I apologize. So language and suggesting was some ability to use language effectively and accurately, but with inconsistency in accurate usage. So we have a lot more glaring errors in level 3 competence versus level 4 competence when it comes to language. There's just a few lapses. We lapse a little bit. We have a little error. This is the one or two typos you may have, or this may be you just really still having some teeny little trouble with language. It could be punctuation. Um, it can be past tense. I do see a lot of past tense errors. I see a lot of past tense errors, guys. Please pick up your past tense. In our Creole, we normally don't use standard English past tense, the standard English version of past tense, and that's great for Creole. But as you would have heard me mention in part one of this, when it comes to register and tone, we need to be formal. And Creole does not really have a formal register. God bless it. It does not. So, especially when we're writing, a formal tone works best. So, you need that ed ending for past tense. I see a lot of it. Okay. When we look at the marks, if I look at the mark difference between language, off for language, sorry, between level 3 and level 4, level 3 is 5 and 6 for org of content and for language, right? And then we have that same mirroring, 7, 8, 7, 8 for level 4, and that's in terms of the organization of content as well as the grammar. Something I'd like to point out here, um, having good language can also save you. I've had students who did sus in terms of content and in terms of organization of content, but their language mark might be high. So that really helps them out a lot. So please work on the language and improve it. Okay, try to avoid errors. Proofread your work so that you can eliminate or reduce errors. Okay, so that's competency, and then we're going to get to the exciting stuff, superiority. This is the ones level in my head. This is the ones and twos in my head, right? Now, that competence can probably give you a 2. No, we don't know how CXC does the assignment of ones and twos, but I like to think of it this way, okay? Just for motivation. Um, Level 5 suggests superiority. 6 demonstrates superiority. They said according to CXC, right? At this level. Okay, so this is CSEC level demonstration of superiority, not worldwide level demonstration of superiority. Nice, wunderbar. So in level 5 superiority for organization and content, we must have superiority in addressing the criteria. Again, 6 and 5 have the same superiority. um, how do I distinguish it? I'm so impressed by level 6. I put down at 5. I put down at 5 that level 6 will get in content, full marks in content. For level 5, you're going to get a 4 if you've got nearly everything. If you got everything, it's a 5 out of 5. If you got nearly everything, then it's a 4 out of 5. You see my distinction? That's what I'm gonna go with. Um, then for language, oh no, not language, because I'm skipping it out because if I'm reading it. For organization of content, it's going to be that similar thing. Do I have everything? Do I hit everything? Then that's 10 out of 10. For level 6, if I've got nearly everything, then that's 9 out of 10. For the language now, and you see the difference in language, which is again, please hit that language. For level 5 superiority, very good use of language, although there may be an occasional lapse in accuracy. So it's like this random one off, maybe even two off. It's just random, right? A random lapse. And when I read it, because as someone who assesses writing, I can tell where, oh, it's just a random. This is pretty good writing, but ooh, you just did this little thing here, right? It's not like glaring errors. And in some cases, you may not even pick it up on your first read. You pick it up on the second read, right? Because the writing is flowing so well. So that's a lovely 9. To get 10, you must not have any errors at all, right? So the person who's at 9 is nearly perfect. So that level 5 is nearly perfect, while 6 is a level of perfection. I don't follow the reports enough to know whether, or I'm not aware if they give feedback to know whether a lot of students hit that level 6, right? Which I should, because I'm always fascinated by the data and the criteria. Again, if you're a data driven person, this is helpful. If you're not a data driven person, the numbers may not be helpful, but I'm hoping how I explain it is actually helpful to you. All right. So this is it for the mark scheme for the mark rubric, the rubric itself for question 1. What I'll do is I'll do each one in a separate video, and that way you can at least just focus on the video you want. All right, so that's it for question 1 summary. Please enjoy the next one. All right, and don't forget to subscribe to CSPS Learning or join our programs. Take care. Bye bye.